Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip. It started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If not for the actions of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. Hey guys, welcome back to Rain to Survival and Fieldcraft. I'm Andrew, and what I have for you today is a look at a combat water survival raft. A raft developed by a commercial company for military use to ferry individuals as well as equipment across bodies of water during wartime or during training operations. Let's take a look. Stand by. As you can probably tell, fall has arrived. Leaves are changing color and falling off the trees, and that air temperature is dropping steadily every day. So before that water temperature gets too cold for us to actually go in, we're going to take advantage of our time now and demonstrate a survival raft that we can use for individual purpose or for a group purpose to cross a water obstacle. This raft is made by a company called Uncharted, and this is designed by veterans for military use, answering the question on how to cross water obstacles or multiple water obstacles one after another with a raft that is quickly inflated and then deflated, packed up, so movement can continue without too much of a pause at open danger areas or linear danger areas like waterways and open water. So this is one solution to that problem for military use. You can tell by my backpack that this is a very small package. The raft weighs about 3 pounds. We brought both oars, a mooring line, and then our work vest or our life vest as just our basic water kit for this video. We could bring out our rocket fins and another larger rope to conduct a crossing, but we're just going to do a single-man crossing with this raft like it was intended. A very small kit, very useful for us. We used these rafts at the last Survival on the Water's Edge class at the Pathfinder School in Ohio toward the end of August, early September. And the students first had to make improvised rafts using materials available, and once they used those successfully, they were given these rafts in order to get out into deeper water safely, to put out traps, go after larger fish, find resources, or just simply cross a water obstacle. And so these rafts are handy to have, not only in a group setting, but for an individual as well. How these rafts work, or how they inflate, is similar to a large sea line bag, only made of a little bit tougher material and rather large. We have the same opening as a sea line bag, and what we do to inflate this is simply wave it side to side to try to fill as much air into the bag itself as possible. Now, I'm not very good at this, so I got as much in as I could, and then we just close the bag like we would a sea line bag, rolling it down and then clipping it together with a buckle to seal it off. Luckily, there's a hose on the side where we can actually continue to inflate the raft, filling it with as much air until it's fully inflated, and we can also use this while we're out on the water to put more air back into the raft if we feel like we're losing air from the raft out in the water. One piece of kit we should always have during any waterborne operations where we're going to use some sort of craft out on the water, whether it be a larger boat, a kayak or canoe, or a survival raft like this one, or even an improvised raft, is some sort of mooring line. That mooring line we can attach to the raft and then attach to the bank to keep the raft out in the water. It actually helps maintain the raft and preserve it, preventing it from rubbing against sharp rocks that are on the shore right now, or broken pieces of glass that we might have missed, or pointy sticks. That way we don't rupture or we don't poke or puncture the side of our raft and then completely dump our craft. Having it out on the water is the safest place for it to be at this time while we're waiting to get in the water ourselves. So I've got my work vest, that's just military speak for life vest, and then I'm going to grab one of the oars to take with me out in the boat along with you guys. Not going to lie, there is no easy way to get into this raft that I've found without scooping just a little bit of water inside the raft and getting wet. So the best way to do this is to get out in the water, get your boots wet, turn around and drop that fourth point of contact in the raft as quickly as possible while lifting the legs, and minimizing the amount of water we're going to scoop into the raft.
It's cold.
We're always going to be wet when we use something like this, and it's similar to what one of my leaders always used to say. If you're in the infantry, you're always going to be wet or you're going to be standing in water. The question then is it warm water or cold water? I wish it was warm water today because that water is cold and we got it right up the back. But we'll get out there into the sunshine and get warmed up. This raft is too easy for a single person. I think it would be difficult to grab our rucksack if it was 80 pounds and try pulling it into the raft with us. And so we'd have to adjust for that, either putting it in the raft first and then kneeling down behind it and then going across the water, or placing it in our lap. So there could be some difficulty with that. But this raft is highly maneuverable, and even before we set out in this raft, it's best to pick a near side and far side rally point if we're in a group. That way, if we have to dump the raft for whatever reason in the middle of the water, we can move to our far side and still cross the water obstacle by swimming, and then regroup with our teammates and move out as best as possible. But we're just going to try to get across this pond and get to the rocks. We know at the rocks there's a steep drop off into the water that will allow us to get up to the rocks very close, launch from those rocks, and continue back the way we came. We want to avoid all the obstacles, broken tree branches, dead trees, any water obstacles that are sharp, that are poking up out of the water that could potentially puncture our raft and cause us to dump. And so we're keeping an eye out for those as we maneuver in the water, staying safe and avoiding obstacles the entire way, and then even keeping a little bit of distance up at the rocks, using our hands to prevent the raft from rubbing up against those rocks. All right, so we are just going to touch and go. We hit the rocks, controlled our launch position, and then I placed a camera out for you guys so we can see exactly what it looks like from the other side of the water obstacle, from the far side, as we move back toward the near side, our launch point, to check the raft itself. Part of this test is to see if we lose any air in the raft at all, any air value, and then exactly how much, given about a 8 or 10 minute total crossing venture that it takes me to get from near side to far side and back. Now, also, we want to take a look at what this raft looks like from the air. Can we see that orange panel while we're operating the raft, or can we be seen from the air? And obviously, as you guys can tell from our UAV footage here, we can be seen from the air relatively easily from a lower altitude. This is about 200 to 300 feet AGL, and so it's visible. We can be seen. You can see us waving in the raft toward rescue. And so it's still a good raft to use. One thing I like about the raft is that it's got that bright orange panel for the bottom that can be seen not only from the top side view of the raft itself, but also from the bottom side view of the raft. Because we can use that raft not only for shelter, creating a lean-to, we can use it basically as a duff bed if we wanted to use that, or even a modified or improvised sleeping bag to keep warm while we lay on top of debris. But that raft, given that orange bottom, can also be used as a signal. And we'll demonstrate that here in a second with more UAV footage. But we're going to get to that near side, back to our original launch point, and you can see we can maneuver this raft relatively easily, get close to the edge. I'm going to get close up until I feel the bottom of the pond right underneath my fourth point, and then that's when we're going to get out. A little bit of stumbling, no easy way to get out, but we're going to get wet no matter what. Just get out of the raft, get up on shore, drop the mooring line, and we're back on the near side. Here's what I was talking about with the signal capabilities of this raft. The bottom is orange. All we have to do is pull that raft up onto the shore, or even leave it in the water and just flip it over to expose a large section of orange, contrasting with the green duckweed underneath to signal search and rescue. We can even take those orange oars that we have and form them into an X and then begin waving at search and rescue aircraft to get their attention. This company also makes a bright orange raft, which is perfect for sea survival and signaling rescue. Yeah, now that we're back on dry land, we can demonstrate how quickly this raft folds up into a small package. That's the whole point of this raft, is to be used by an individual or group. Get it inflated quickly, load it, cross that water obstacle, get to the far side, drag it out, and then deflate it as fast as possible and pack it up as fast as possible so we can get away from this water obstacle. Every water obstacle or open area or road is a linear danger area or an open danger area. Both enemy and friendly use it, and so limiting our time next to that water source is incredibly important to avoid detection. But as you can see, the simple fact is this raft, all we have to do is open up the mouth, let all the air out, fold it up left and right long ways, and then just simply roll this thing up until it's down to its small package size, clip the buckle together, and our raft is ready to go right inside our pack. All right, we'll pack the rest of our gear up in just a second, but wanted to demonstrate just a quick technique to coil our mooring line. Our mooring line is 1-inch tubular nylon webbing OD green. It's about 8 or 9 feet of cordage with that carabiner. And what we can do to coil this very easily to make it a fast deploy mooring line is by making a bite in the cordage about halfway and then finding the two ends, making sure there are no twists. With those two ends together, we just do a simple overhand knot, and then we start another overhand knot, except we're not going to pull the excess all the way through. We're going to create just a simple, small loop. We hold that loop, grab the excess again, put it through that loop we create, creating another loop by not pulling all the excess through. We continue this process until we get to the end or the middle or that bite of that tubular nylon webbing. From here, we push the actual excess all the way through, and then we can put that carabiner on the loop or the bite we created in the first place to give us a nice little commando coil for our mooring line as part of our water kit. We drop everything else, and we're ready to pack up. The entire kit fits right back inside of our backpack, and no one is the wiser. Now we can just continue to move out once we cross that water obstacle. All right, guys, a very down and dirty video today. I really hope you like this video on the combat water survival raft that we can use for single man or multi-purpose to get across bodies of water, either for military use or for training and survival. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.